Now I want to talk about different techniques you can use to heal from social anxiety and social phobia. First, I want to say if there's any doubt associated with emotional work, spiritual work, or anything that you have to do in general, it's best to come up with different reasons why you believe it can work or it will work. If there's any reason out there that you believe in the possibility of it working, you want to take note of it. This you could program your mind to start to believe these things. Once you start to believe it works better for you because you've gotten rid of the doubt, that doubt that gets in the way of you and what you want to achieve. If you understand about how doubt get in the way of your healing and get into in the way of what you want to achieve, you would want to go see my video called Barrier Emotions, so you get to understand why emotions like doubt could prevent you from getting what it is that you want. Then I want to say that with everything you want to do when it comes to healing, it is best to set the intention first. You can set the intention in by means of a prayer, asking your God or the universe, whoever your God is, it doesn't matter, it's the same power, to give you power to trust the healing process, or you could just set the intention by telling the universe what you want to do and what you want the outcome to be. Then you could move on to the process. First one is what I'd like to call aggressive catharsis. It's releasing. You just do what you need to do to release the feelings that are causing social anxiety, and the feelings that cause it to stay within your body. So, releasing. Release all the negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, and frustrations, concerns, insecurities associated with social anxiety. To release, you could do a very aggressive kind of dance. You could do a dance, you could cry or scream, anything that's going to help you to release and get it out of you, bring it to the surface. Don't suppress it, bring it up. You could do it with your words by speaking out what is making you feel what you're feeling. You could write it or draw it. These are ways to bring it up to the surface. Don't suppress it. Don't act like it's not there, because that's suppression. You want to bring it up. You could draw it, you could write it, you could scream, you could shout, you could dance. Just express it in whatever way you believe works best for you. And this will work because you've already set the intention before you do it. So make sure you set the intention. When releasing, try to be as aggressive as possible. Pull out as much negative energy as possible. Do not hold it back. Do not you need to do and say all you need to do and say to be as honest, as gruesome, as graphic as possible. Pull it out until you feel a relief, until you start to sweat, to cry, to break down. Just make sure you feel it and bring it up as much as possible and release it and be as real as possible. This is how you release. After releasing, do not wait or procrastinate before you move on to these other methods of healing that I'm going to introduce here. I'm going to introduce this process and another one afterwards. But I want you to do this particular process as many times as you need. Use any or all of the scenes from your childhood, because it's a childhood process. It's inner child work. You could use any scene that bothered you. You could use any scene that you remember. If you don't remember, you could just create a scenario around you that will work for you, which I'm going to explain right now. Okay, so this is inner child work, or what I like to call it feeling catharsis. A lot of people believe that inner child work has to be a long, drawn-out process. This is not true. You could take, say, 10, 15, 20 minutes out of your day, or whenever you feel the need, preferably when you feel the feelings that you need to work with. In this case, when you feel social anxiety. When you start feeling these feelings in a situation or a scenario right away, or when you find the time and space, sit or lay down comfortably. Bring up the feelings as much as possible. Take the feeling back to your childhood. Take the feeling, close your eyes and take that feeling itself back to the childhood. Allow the child, you as the child, to feel the feeling. It's best to remember the first time, that first scene that you started to feel those feelings. It will probably more than likely involve your parents. If not, that's okay. You're just gonna create that scene in your mind, in your visualization, in your memory. If you can't remember the first time, just create a scene with your parents. Allow them to assure you that you are good enough. Allow your parents to reverse and say and do the total opposite of what was said and or done to you that made you feel those negative feelings that is related to social anxiety and related to your self-worth, really. You can use any scene from your childhood where you feel social anxiety or negative feelings associated with social anxiety. Create a loving scene. Visualize everything being reversed to a more positive occurrence. You can come out of the visualization when you start to feel better, lighter, and if something is released, just like the first one. So with inner child work, you want to visualize. Close your eyes, sit comfortably, visualize. Create in your mind the memory associated with these negative feelings. If there's no memory, you can't find a memory, create a scene where you could bring in a parent, bring in whoever that could help you to feel better. But you want to visualize yourself as a child and say all that you need to say to the child to make the child feel good about himself or herself. Create a beautiful scenery. Just create a positive vibration, a positive scene. Everything that you would like as a child or you would like as an adult, create that around the child. You could put your adult self there, you could put your child self there, and parents and whoever you need to be there to make you feel better about the child itself, feel better about himself. What you can do, you don't have to use my methods for inner child work. You could research inner child work and use those processes with the feelings that come up with social anxiety. It doesn't have to be my methods for childhood healing. Another method for healing is finding approval. You want to find approval for whatever is going on in your life. positive or negative. This works because everything is energy, and energy will respond to the way you approach it. If you give energy negative energy, it will respond negative. If you give energy positive energy, it will respond positively. So you want to find approval for the issue. So you're giving the social anxiety positive energy by giving it approval, giving it the permission to exist. This way it goes where it needs to go rather than being suppressed in your body. So finding approval. Find approval for having social anxiety. Find reasons why it's good and beneficial to live with and struggle with social anxiety. Write down all that you've learned about social anxiety. Write down all that you've learned about yourself and living with it. What you've learned. You've learned about yourself. You've learned about life through living. This is a positive thing because you are now learning more about yourself. So this is how you give the situation love. When you give it love, it will respond positively and it will go to a better place. Whereas this means if you interact positively with your social anxiety, it will heal itself. So you could write down anything positive you've learned about it, or any way you benefit from having it. So, for example, you could write down, social anxiety has given me time with myself to think and understand certain things about my mind and about the human mind in general. Social anxiety has taught me self-reliance. Social anxiety has helped me to be independent in certain areas. Here's another one. It has also taught me that love and connection to living beings are important. Another one is, it led me to seek help and find interesting insights in the human mind and my mind. Also, you need to find approval for anything negatively that had happened throughout your life regarding social anxiety, and approval for any incident that had happened regarding social anxiety. Example, if you went to school one day and you felt extra shy or nervous in certain situation, write down anything positive about the situation, anything you've learned from the situation, or anything that was happening in the situation that was positive. Another example is if you have to make a public speech and you felt anxious or you made a bunch of mistakes while doing it, try to write down anything positive about that experience. Anything positive about the scenario, just try to write it down. Anything you've learned about it, write it down.